This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. And that right there to my left, to your right, is not Kelly Bidlin. It's Danny Higgins in for Kelly Bidlin. Kelly, he saw snow-filled football over the weekend. It was too much for his head to take, and now he's got a migraine. Poor kid.
I know.
I shouldn't make jokes about such a thing. Gilly, it's not even funny as a joke, as my mom would say. Poor Kelly has a migraine. He's plagued by migraines, and this morning he woke up, I guess, or it was hitting him yesterday, I think.
Yes, it hit him yesterday. When I talked to him this morning, I spoke to him on the phone. He didn't sound too great, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to him this morning, I texted him around 4:45 because we usually finishing up some things for the show, and he was just like, I can't do it today.
Oh, what a kid. Little Gracie used to have migraines. I used to have to carry her around like the house from place to place. It's so debilitating. I was unwilling to do that for Kelly, despite the 100-pound weight loss. So we hope that he feels better quickly. These things tend to take their time.
Yes,
They're on their own schedule. So we'll try to do well in Kelly's stead. Jake Hahn on hockey coming up a little later on this hour. Matty Cox talking college hoops with us after that Arizona BYU game last night. Did you see that?
Oh, unbelievable.
Arizona just dominating that basketball game. And I was watching tennis, was just kind of casually following the scores. Like, oh, still double-digit lead. Oh, still double-digit lead. Then all of a sudden, what is happening?
Yeah.
Refs induced closeness, or were bad calls on both ends, I would say.
I would say, for me, I would say both ends.
Yeah,
I would say go
so
back
too.
and forth. Because I was watching a Duke game earlier, and they absolutely just mollywopped Louisville there. But then, that BYU-Arizona game was great.
Good use of mollywop to start the show,
like
Danny.
that.
By the way, nice job. Drew Didsick a little later on for the Deep Dive podcast, NBC Sports The Edge, NBC Sports Bet The Edge. We'll talk NBA and NFL, obviously, Super Bowl 60 with Drewski. And then a couple, first of all, Jeff Erickson a little later on, too. Ben Wilson joining us later to talk tennis.
Yes.
Can't wait to talk with Ben about that. And then a couple sort of special things today. Here's what we're going to do in just about 15 minutes, less, about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, somewhere in that pocket. The first iteration, Danny Higgins. We never did this before I came back from vacation after the Super Bowl, but we're going to do the first iteration of the NCAA championship basketball formula today on the show.
All right.
First hour. Who qualifies, who's on the outside looking in, we'll do all that. We'll go through the criteria. Where the Sweet 16 portion of this has been tested the last 3 years. But we're still going to talk about that as well. We will get to the NCAA basketball formula. And then yesterday, we talked about this on the show, and then we put out the video of this. And I will tell you that, first of all, Buddhist Man was killing me. He was cracking me up on Twitter. There is nothing quite as sensitive as New England Patriots fans, as we're learning.
Yes.
So we did this segment on the air because I'm just being honest. I thought about Sunday, right, when they were going to the Super Bowl. I thought, okay, like, where does this team rank in terms of, the weaker teams to ever make a Super Bowl? Hey, you made a Super Bowl. Good on you. There have been bad teams that have made Super Bowls before. There have been not so awesome teams that have won Super Bowls before. But I was just curious, right? And I had the audacity, Danny, the moxie, the chutzpah to ask Aaron Schatz, where is it? Am I right about this? So now people are mad at me for asking the question. And Aaron Schatz said, I don't know, like 16th worst, something like that, out of the 96 that he's tracked. 120 total Super Bowls, but Aaron only goes back to 1978, so that's 96 Super Bowl teams. So today, Aaron Schatz is going to make a special appearance on the show to tell us where they actually rank. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's not 16th. Maybe he did a deeper dive. Maybe it was better. Maybe it was worse. I have no idea.
I'm excited to hear.
I'm excited to hear. So Aaron Schatz a little later on the show to talk about that with us. Just to put the Patriots in context of this Super Bowl 60, where they are 4.5-point dogs. 12 days from now, Danny. 12.
We got some time.
The other big news this morning, did you catch this? Darian Mensah?
Yes.
And Duke have settled their dispute. That's it. Duke was trying to prevent him from going into the portal. And Mensah and Duke come to an agreement that he is free to go now. Is basically the long and short of it. So Miami,
it
here
is.
he comes.
Yes. I'm excited because I'm a Miami fan of Larry in the back. That's it's really exciting. Coming back. Getting a guy like that should be very very good. Going into 2027. So it should be or 2026. My apologies. But yeah, so it should be that's a big pickup for them. So
Mensah, number 5 overall player in ESPN's transfer rankings. Last year, 34 touchdown passes, 6 picks, just shy of 4,000 passing yards, 3,973. So Miami lands kindly.
Yes,
with Darian Mensah. So there you go, college football. Tennis. Can we discuss tennis? Hope everybody was riding on the Alina Svitolina pick overnight. Gave that out yesterday, plus 167 versus Coco Gauff. Cha-ching. Straight set, easy peasy win. Crushed Coco late night our time, but obviously daytime Australia time. Well, actually, it was kind of evening time Australia time. Who knows? It was indoors. It was too hot to play outside. 113 degrees yesterday in Melbourne. And so we cashed that on Alina Svitolina. So, by the way, there's 6 Americans headed into the quarterfinals of both the men's and women's side. We might only have one that get to the semis in either, because all the Americans knocked out yesterday. So we hit on Svitolina at plus 167 as this tournament continues to be a good one for us. And then today is the big day with a couple of the futures. Again, on the men's side, Lorenzo Musetti to win quarter number 3 at plus 650, but he is taking on Novak Djokovic today. So the question was, do I think Musetti is live is the first thing. Am I betting Musetti? I'm not. I've got my plus 650. I'm just going to let that ride. Do I think that Musetti has more than a puncher's chance? I do, because Musetti's numbers, the reason I bet it in the first place, there's a reason, right? Musetti's numbers on hard courts are spectacular. He is right now, to me, a bona fide top 5 player in the world. The only issue is he's playing the greatest of all time here, Novak Djokovic. And if you follow tennis, you don't even have to follow it to know that Novak is something just in the stratosphere. So I'm not going to back it up. I'm not going to go crazy with another bet, but I'm going to hope that third quarter bet gets in at plus 650. I expect it to be a really good match today. But Novak and Lorenzo Musetti, they're head-to-head. Novak 9-1. 9-1. So part of that bet was also hoping that Novak, something happened to Novak. Not only did nothing happen to Novak along the way, but he also had a withdrawal from Jakub Mensik in the previous round. So he's rested.
So he didn't have to play the previous.
So 38 years old and rested to take on Musetti today. But we shall see, man. I feel like we're live. Just not going to back that up with another bet. I will back up Jessie Pegula, though, with another bet. Jessie Pegula to win the third quarter today. She's taking on her fellow American Amanda Anisimova. So we're guaranteed one American getting through. Jessie is a short dog, Short dog today against Anisimova. We have her at 4-1 to win quarter number 3. I am also backing that up with a bet on Jessie Pegula today against Amanda Anisimova at plus 106. There, by the way, are the current odds for the remaining 6 to win this whole thing. And really, they haven't changed much. They really haven't. Rita Sabalenka remains at minus 145. Rybakina and Swiatek, who play today, are next. Then it's Anisimova, Svitolina now, and Pegula. So Coco getting bounced is the only real change there. So the 2 bets today, cutting to the chase here. We have the Musetti and Pegula quarter bets riding tonight. Both of those are in play. I am backing up the Pegula one with an additional bet on the match today, plus 106 versus Amanda Anisimova. Jessie Pegula, the reason bet in the first place, she is the most consistent player on the women's tour. Even Arena and Iga and those girls, they have their ups and downs. But Jessie Pegula is just a steady ship. So plus 106 on Pegula today against Amanda Anisimova. And then the other match, you may find no surprise in this. I am taking the great Iga Swiatek, who is looking for a career slam here, plus 110 versus Elena Rybakina. Now, for those who have listened to this show for years and years and years, we have made a fortune, a bona fide fortune on Iga Swiatek. This has been as consistent a thing through the history of this show as anything. Have we lost on Swiatek? Yeah, here and there. But it amounts to a drop in a bucket compared to what we've won on her. Now, plus 110 versus Rybakina, this is not just some love of Swiatek play. You see that I don't play her on an individual day-by-day basis. But in this particular matchup, again, it comes down to numbers. And like I took a little incoming on the podcast with Drew and Zach about me being high on Musetti, my numbers on Iga on hard courts are actually still the best of anybody. 6 months and 1 year. By a tick, right? By not by much, but by, a significant, not a negligible amount, let's put it that way, over Sabalenka and the rest of the field. Elena Rybakina right up there as well. Iga as a dog, hey, if Rybakina's on with her serve, it's going to be a tough one. No doubt about it, because Rybakina's a slam winner at Wimbledon. She's great on fast surfaces. Doesn't really stand a chance against Iga on clay. But in this particular case, I'll quote Andy Roddick on his podcast. Iga has a chance to smother her here. Elena does not like to necessarily be rushed on shots. Iga's got to use her athleticism. So Iga Swiatek plus 110 versus Elena Rybakina. So it's Swiatek and Pegula with the individual plays today on the heels of both the on the Svitolina big dog winner last night, the Musetti dog winner the previous day, and then the individual matches today, Pegula and Swiatek, respectively, against Anisimova and Rybakina. And yes, I was up till 2 a.m. again watching this stuff. So as much as I love this tournament, as great as it is, Malika Andrews doing it now. It's awesome on ESPN when they do show these things live. I kind of can't wait till it's over too, so I don't stay up till 2 a.m.
Get some sleep.
Watching bets.
Stay up late.
But hey, man, it shows you though with bets, right? As long as it's profitable, you're willing to.
Oh yeah.
Sleep? Who cares?
I remember when I lived back on the East Coast, staying up for those Hawaii games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were a struggle, but when you're winning, it's all right.
When you're winning, it's fun. All right, we'll come back. First iteration of the college basketball formula coming up. Who qualifies? Tried and true through the decades. The early look at it here in mid to late January, as we approach February. Coming up on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on Tuesday's edition of Money Moves, it's our usual check-in with our mid-major maestro, Adam Burke, managing editor at VSiN.com. We got a monster slate in college basketball. Love this team on the road in a top 5 matchup. We'll tell you who it is. Plus, a mammoth card. Get it in the NHL. Stormy's got her eyes on this team, as do I, to bounce back after an embarrassing performance over the weekend. So don't miss it. It's Money Moves, 11 to 1 Pacific, 2 to 4 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hey, if you want to bet smarter, start with Smarter Insights on the website, VSiN.com. Always in full effect as we do the shows here at the network. Greg Peterson's college basketball bets on there right now. His best bets. Circa Super Bowl squares explained. That's on there as well. Zachary Cohen's Australian Open picks. And later today, you can check out Wes Reynolds' Farmer Insurance Open preview, Zach Cohen's NBA best bets, Zach working overtime, and then Jonathan Davis's NHL picks and props. Right now, use promo code ANG to save $60 off a VSiN Pro annual subscription at VSiN.com/subscribe. Gil Alexander, Danny Higgins. Danny.
I know.
How about a Fresca? Danny Higgins sitting in for Kelly Bidlin, who is legit ailing this morning with a migraine, plagued by migraines. No rhyme or reason to it. People who have migraines cannot pinpoint why they come up sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know about yourself, but for me, I've never been someone that really gets migraines, but I know people that get them, and when they do, it's not good.
There was a period when I was in my 20s, I want to say, where when I would get on a plane, I would get sinus headaches.
Oh. Yeah.
Those were bad enough.
Yeah, no.
I cannot imagine what a migraine feels like.
Yeah, no.
His sinus headaches were brutal. And then they just kind of went away, but migraines apparently with Kelly have not. So we wish him well. Hopefully he's back tomorrow. Okay, so we've done this on this show. We've done it on the podcast. We've done the Betting Dork podcast years ago. It's the tried and true college basketball formula. Many a mimic since we've been doing this. Imitation. Finest form of flattery. But we have one set of this criteria, one set of the 6 that has kind of been tested the last few years. Let's get into it. These are the 6 criteria that have been tried and true over the years that have produced, within this group, almost without exception, the eventual national champion in college basketball. So this is updated now for this season. This is the earliest I think we've ever looked at it. Last 35 champs, Dan, 3 decades and a half, have had more assists than turnovers. Well, that makes sense. That would kind of be weird if they didn't. 32 of the last 35 champs. This is the category now that has more than one exception. This is the first time this has ever happened in one of the categories. But this is the one that's teetering. 32 of the last 35 champs had a head coach with Sweet 16 experience prior to the year that they won the national championship. Now, for many, many years, for most of the years of this category, only the 2014 UConn Huskies, coached by Kevin Ollie, that was the Shabazz Napier-led Huskies that year, not the Kemba-led Huskies, just to distinguish. That was the only exception, Kevin Ollie. But in the last 3 seasons, we have had 2 more exceptions. Dan Hurley at UConn, who didn't have any Sweet 16 appearances before as a head coach when UConn won it all in 2023. And then last year, Todd Golden, Leaflet, head coach Florida Gators. He didn't have any Sweet 16 coaching experience when the Gators went on their magic carpet ride last year. So we have 3 exceptions to that rule. That one's teetering. The rest of them, again, with lone exceptions. 29 of the last 30 champs went to the tournament with at least 3 wins versus teams in the top 10% of RPI. Again, that's how long we've been doing this, that we're still using RPI in this. 2014 UConn Huskies, the exception. 2014 UConn Huskies are the formula buster in many of these. And then the final 3 categories on these for the college basketball formula, again, to produce a group of teams from which the eventual national champion comes. Let's see if we can produce that graphic here, boys. No, can't do it. I'll read it. I'll do it off the phone then. The final 3 categories are the Ken Pom 2 are the final 2, but then the last 30 champs had a top 75 strength of schedule. All 30 of them did. And then the final 2 categories are the Ken Pom top 20 adjusted offense and top 20 adjusted defense. 22 of the last 23 champs were in the top 20 in adjusted offensive efficiency. Only the 2014 UConn Huskies were the exception there. They were number 39 in adjusted offense back in 2014. And 22 of the last 23 champs were in the top 20 in defensive efficiency, adjusted defensive efficiency at Ken Pom. The 2021 Baylor Bears finished 22nd in adjusted D that year. So that's it, with the Sweet 16 being the only exception that's sort of teetering. Those are the 6 criteria. So then you ask yourself, who are the teams that qualify this year thus far? And again, this is admittedly all too early, so it won't be nearly as narrow as one might hope at this point. But the 7 teams currently qualify. They are, in no particular order, Arizona, undefeated Arizona, still after last night. They got a gauntlet still coming up, though. They're not going to get to to the conference tournament undefeated. Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, Houston, Gonzaga, and Florida, the national champs. Once again, Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, Houston, Gonzaga, and Florida all currently qualify under the college basketball formula. So, God, you look at some of these teams. Arizona, 4th in adjusted offensive efficiency, 3rd in defensive adjusted efficiency. Duke, 5th and 4th. Michigan, 7th and 2nd. Those are really, in terms of adjusted offense and defense, the most consistent in both categories. How about teams on the outside looking in? Outside looking in this, teams that didn't quite qualify but could here as the season continues. Much basketball still to be played. Vanderbilt, for those are like, hey, where's Vanderbilt in this? Vanderbilt does qualify 9th and 18th, right? Adjusted 20 offense defense. But Mark Byington has not been to the Sweet 16 before as a head coach. Not at College of Charleston, not at Georgia Southern, not at James Madison, not in his 1 year here at Vandy. So that's, again, can Mark Byington do what Kevin Ollie and Dan Hurley and Todd Golden did? That will remain to be seen. Virginia, same deal. Virginia qualifies, believe it or not, top 20 offense and defense at Ken Palm. But Ryan Odom, no Sweet 16s ever at Charlotte, at UMBC, Utah State, or VCU. Remember, as coach of UMBC, though, he pulled off the historic 64-1 upset of Virginia. Now the head coach of the Wahoos. What about undefeated Nebraska? Just on the outside looking in and on offense. Adjusted offensive efficiency at Ken Palm. 22nd, but 11th on defense. So they're just on the outside looking in. And then BYU, who lost to Arizona last night. Kevin Young did get to a Sweet 16 last year. By the way, Fred Hoiberg also has gotten to a Sweet 16 at Iowa State, if you were wondering, in Nebraska. BYU 10th adjusted offensive efficiency, but 24th on defense. So again, that can change. Also on the outside looking in, just going through some of the great teams in college basketball this year, some of the better teams, if you're wondering, what about Michigan State, right? Michigan State, Tom Izzo, whose resume is just ridiculous in terms of its vastness, how far he's taken teams into the tournament. I'm just looking at this now. It's 16 Sweet 16s, is that right? 3 of which got to the, was 16 Sweet 16s. 11 of which got to the Elite Eight. Oh, God. 8 of which got to the Final Four. 2 of which got to the championship game. 1 national champ. Michigan State is first in defense, adjusted efficiency at Ken Palm, but 47th on offense.
No.
So this is an interesting year, at least looking at it at this point, because there are some teams that are so good on one side of the court, but like Michigan State, 47th, if they were to do it, not to say that they can't improve that 47 between now and the big dance, but that would be certainly an exception to the rule. Illinois, what about Illinois under Brad Underwood? Brad Underwood got to the Elite Eight 2 years ago, so he qualifies in terms of the Sweet 16 part of this. Illinois first in adjusted offensive efficiency at Ken Palm, but 29th on defense, so they got some chance to get in there. Purdue and Matt Painter, 2nd and 30th. Matt Painter has gotten to 8 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite Eight, 1 national runner-up. How about UConn and Dan Hurley? UConn 37th on offense, 5th on defense, though. Just the defensive efficiency at Ken Palm. Dan Hurley, who has only been to 2 Sweet 16s, and guess what? Won it all both times.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley's like, look, if I'm getting to the Sweet 16, we're just going to take care of this whole thing.
And Caravan's still there, really. He's been there for like 7 years.
14th year at UConn. That's right. I think Felica texted that the other day. He goes, oh, look, Caravan's still playing for UConn. Kansas, Bill Self, 29th and 12th. Adjusted offense and defense. Obviously, Bill Self, ridiculous resume as well. You look at him, too. It's like, okay, knocked out in the Sweet 16 3 times. Elite Eight 7 times. Both Illinois and Tulsa stints involved in both of those. Final Four, runner-up, national champ twice. You know how it goes. Texas Tech, 8 and 40th. Grant McCaslin, Elite Eight last year. Louisville under Pat Kelsey. He's never coached in the Sweet 16, despite them being 12th and 36. So they have the Sweet 16 exception, if you believe in the formula. Alabama. What about Alabama now? Nate Oates, 3rd on offense, 69th on defense. They are on brand as always.
Always are there.
Yeah, Crimson Tide. NATO Sweet 16 twice. I think they got knocked out Elite 8 once last year, that was. And then one Final Four a couple years back. And then St. John's and Rick Pitino, 32nd in adjusted offensive efficiency right now, 17th on defense on the outside looking in. Pitino again, whew, God, knocked down the Sweet 16 once, Elite 8 once, Elite 8 5 times, Final Four 4 times, was a runner-up, and then, of course, national champ twice, both in Kentucky and Louisville. So, again, the 7 that do qualify at this moment: Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, Houston, Gonzaga, Florida. The first of what will end up being about 5 or 6 iterations of the college basketball formula between now and the big dance itself. Let's talk some hockey. Jake Hahn on the other side. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, don't forget to check out Profit X once again. New user purchase match available in 40-plus states. You can sign up now. Just scan the QR code right there. Sign-up offer is this, 20% off. 20% match up, I should say. 20% match up to $100 in bonus cash. Before they were no longer allowed in California, I used to use it every single time I went to California. Seamless money in, seamless money out. Once again, the new user purchase match, 20% match up to $100 in bonus cash at Profit X. Easy to download. Just check it out. Available still in 40-plus states. We get tweets at Beat of the Book. Always appreciate everybody. T-Pars, too. Used to be Teasers and Parlays, too. He's changed it to T-Pars, too. Svitolina. Moneybags, let's go. Let us go, indeed. Lance Schaefer, keep him coming, Gil. He got Svitolina as well for the nice cash. Jesse Welch, just wanted to shout out a congrats to Buddhist Man for his induction into the ANG Hall of Fame. Kelly and I talked about this yesterday, that if we ever had a listener Hall of Fame, he might be first ballot, we think, Buddhist Man. So Jesse Welch might be. Jesse Welch is up for a first ballot also, I think. Ray in Texas, instead of NFL power rankings, how about some NFL quarterback rankings? All right, maybe we'll do that next year. Then Kelly will just sit here for hours and ask me. He'll be like, Tua versus Jaden Daniels. Who do you want? He'll do that for an hour. The whole show for 3 hours will be that. Mile marker 420. Do the Browns not realize how embarrassing it is to have all these coaches taking their names out of consideration? Promote Jim Schultz already. By the way, I have, or Jim Schwartz, he means already. By the way, I have officially taken my name out of consideration for a head coaching interview, just a matter of time before they call. Yeah, I was mentioning this yesterday, mile marker. It's just, if you're the Browns or the Cardinals, it feels like those two teams, and the Raiders, it just feels like, we're getting anybody who no one else wanted. And then on top of that, you're getting coordinators, no-name coordinators saying to the Browns, yeah, I'm cool. Take my name out. It's so bad. Bullet Godfrey says, should have bet more on Svitolina. Yeah, man. He got Svitolina. He took the money line, and then he wasn't. He also took Lena Svitolina plus 1.5 as well. I imagine that sets there, perhaps. Let's see. And then Buddhist Man himself says, it's an honor being named to the ANG Tweeters Hall of Fame. I'm greatly looking forward to the majestic ceremony where a color printout of my avatar is raised to the rafters and displayed inside the men's room of Gil's Sushi Spot. What's this? I have to pay for my own jacket? Yes. We don't really have the budget for your jacket. Sorry about that, Buddhist. This is from, and this is from Greg Nicious, who's going after. So Vegas Chump tweeted in yesterday, I could name all off the top of my head that the first 20 Super Bowl teams were better than this year's, or worse than this year's Patriots. Maybe even the first 40. Well, not exactly, Chump. Not according to DVOA. And Greg Nicious set in on him yesterday by saying, yeah, they're better than the 85 Bears and the 91 Skins, all of that. While you're at it, stop with that already. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some hockey. Jake Hahn joins us now to talk NHL with us, which just a numbers game investigation, a special numbers game investigation reveals has about 9 days left before they go on a 20-day break for the Winter Olympics. Jake joins us now from snowed in Toronto. He's the co-host on The Point and the Fantasy Hockey Show at SiriusXM NHL, co-host of NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast as well at NHL Fantasy. Jay Hahn, that's Jhahn 4, the number 4 on Twitter. Jake, good morning to you, man.
Good morning, guys. Glad to be here as always. Gil, I'm glad to also hear you've been crushing the Aussie Open. No surprise there. You know what you're doing when it comes to the tennis, and I've been enjoying some Aussie Open here as well, and keeping me away from outside as much as possible. We got absolutely hammered by snow on Sunday, so I've been trying to shovel my way out, and I'm happy to be inside chatting with you guys here.
Hey, real quick, I just mentioned that, first of all, I hope the snow melts, but you guys are used to it up there, so you know how to handle it. That was my experience when I went my freshman year in Boston. I was like, because I came from D.C., where if it goes under 40 degrees, everyone panics, right? In Boston, it was like, 18 inches tomorrow. Surely we were getting let out of school, and they have it cleared by morning. It's just such a routine thing for those up north. I mentioned that the NHL is going on hiatus for the Winter Olympics here in about 9 days. So forgive the question, but because there's no way to quantify this, but I'm curious your opinion. What team does this help, this break? What team does this hurt? Who doesn't need the break?
That's a really good question. I think any team that's playing really well right now probably doesn't want the break, right? There's a lot of and there's a handful of them that are really going. The Anaheim Ducks feel like they've turned their season around, winners of 7 straight. The Pittsburgh Penguins are hot again as well, second place now in the Metropolitan Division. The Utah Mammoth have gone on a really nice run. Now, they did get shut out by the Tampa Bay Lightning last night, and they play again tonight in Florida, which is kind of a really tough back-to-back. They have a difficult schedule this week. So I'd say any team that's kind of on one of those win streaks that's just thinking, hey, we're having fun coming to the arena right now, and then you just invert it for teams that are just middling, struggling, and just say, okay, we want a reset button. Maybe we have some older players on the roster. I look at a team like the Florida Panthers or heck, the Edmonton Oilers, teams that have gone on deep cup runs the last couple of years, probably need a little bit of a break. Now, the downside to it, a lot of their players are playing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
You look at the Florida Panthers roster, a lot of them aren't getting the break, and Edmonton, 2 of their top players, they're not getting the break either. Connor McDavid is going to be playing a ton of minutes for Team Canada. Leon Draisaitl for Team Germany could be a bit of a dark horse at the Olympics. So, some of these guys are getting breaks, but a lot of them are going over and going to continue to play.
I'll tell you who could use a break. The Vancouver Canucks, losers of 13 of 14. They could probably use a break also. Maybe
they just want to wrap up the whole season right now.
That's
They're
right.
done. Yeah.
They're like, please, but bring this along. Real quick before we get to your picks, because you got a few sides here. You got some props for us. I saw the Rangers and the Islanders made a trade. How rare is that, by the way?
Yeah, this actually was breaking during my show yesterday a little bit. Now, we didn't know the full details at the time, but Carson Soucy, who's the player going from the Rangers to the Islanders, looked like he was going to be held out of the lineup last night, and we were just speculating on, okay, what's the return going to be? And that was my first thought, man. How often do the Rangers and the Islanders come together on a trade? Now, a trade like this, I think it's fine. A guy like Carson Soucy is not going to burn the Rangers. No offense to the guy, more of a depth defenseman. So I think this is the type of trade that you could see two rivals make. Artemi Panarin's a guy that probably will get traded by the Rangers before the deadline. That's a player you wouldn't see traded to the Islanders. I would imagine, or the Devils or another rival team of the Rangers. That I couldn't see happening, but a depth piece like this, I think two rivals can come together if the price is right.
All right, let's get to your plays tonight. In honor, or I should say in dishonor of the Australian Open, you are fading the Buffalo Sabres. Terry Pegula's Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, all the focus will be on Jess tonight, right? So maybe a distraction for the Buffalo Sabres. Everybody worried about Jess in her big Australian Open match tonight, and maybe that's an opportunity for the Leafs. Look, this will probably be an unpopular play. The Leafs have lost 4 in a row. They're not playing well. Really difficult part of their schedule the last couple of weeks, and the Sabres are full marks for what they're doing. Another 3-game win streak. They shut out the Islanders over the weekend. So going just based on form, Buffalo should win this game, no problem. I think this is put up or shut up time for the Leafs. This is actually their last home game, Gil, before they go out on the road and then hit the Olympic break. So the last home game before the Olympic break for the Maple Leafs, I think they have to send some sort of message to say they're still in this thing. It's desperation time. The vibes are off with this team. I haven't played them much this year, but I think this is a spot. I'm going to back them at a pretty fair price. A little scary going against the Sabres, but I do think the Leafs find a way to win this one on Tuesday night.
How often do you get out to Scotiabank Arena?
I would say about 6 or 7 games a year I go to. I contemplated going to the Mitch Marner return on Friday, but it was just a little too crazy for me. And I'm not used to the Friday night games either here at Gil. We don't play a lot of Friday night games. It's a Saturday night team. So that one kind of caught me off guard. And tonight would be a good night to go. I'm sure some Sabres fans will be sprinkling into the building if they can make it with all this snow. So should be a good environment at Scotiabank tonight.
All right. So you're on the Leafs. You're also on the Sharks tonight.
I am on the Sharks now. Macklin Celebrini going back home to the BC area, to the Vancouver area. This is where he's from. I'd have to think some family and friends are going to be in the building for him, and he's been one of the best players in the league this year. And you said it off the top, Gil. Vancouver, they're just tapped out. They're done. San Jose, do I want to lay chalk on the road with the Sharks? I didn't think I'd probably be doing that at any point this year, but Vancouver's just really bad right now. San Jose's motivated. They're trying to make the playoffs. I think you could almost even sprinkle a little bit on the puck line if this thing gets away from Vancouver, but I'm going to play it safe. Just take the money line here.
All right, and then the Panthers, but in regulation. That's how you're playing that one?
Just to get a bit of a better price, the Panthers are priced around -150, -155 on the money line in a lot of spots. Utah played last night in Tampa. They got shut out. Now, this isn't, travel-wise, it's not a crazy back-to-back, Tampa Bay to South Florida. So I think in that aspect, Utah shouldn't be in a bad spot, but they get their backup goaltender playing tonight. And Florida seems like they've started to turn the corner. They're healthy. Kachuk's in the lineup now. 3 in a row. It feels like the Panthers are finding their game. They want to put themselves in a good spot before the Olympic break here as well.
All right. The floor is yours. What props you got tonight?
I got a list here now. I don't see Kelly, so I left Snuggerud off the off the list, the Snuggerud shots. But if Kelly wants to play that somewhere, he's more than welcome. I do have a couple sogs. Yeah, I do have a couple sogs for him. Pasternak over 3.5 shots on home ice. He's just been firing the last handful of games. Wyatt Johnston over 2.5 shots for Dallas in that matchup against Snuggerud and the St. Louis Blues, and a bunch of point props. Gil, I'd like to play the 2+ points. It's an angle to get a better price on some of these top players. I mentioned Macklin Celebrini in Vancouver, plus money for him to get 2 points. Jason Robertson, but plus 195 to get a couple of points against St. Louis. Kirill Kaprizov's also plus money for 2 points. And I'll take Carter Verhaeghe just for 1 point in the matchup between Florida and the Utah Mammoth.
Jake, appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Stay warm, man. Thank you so much.
I'll do my. It's going to be hard, but I'll do my best. I'll continue to shovel my way to the studio this afternoon.
Appreciate it. Jake Hahn, everybody. JHahn4, once again, on Twitter. College Hoops, Matty Cox from 3-Man Weave next on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
You know what? I'm going to blame Andy Reid for cronyism because Matt Nagy stinks. A guy like Jefferson, you got to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem, and he's been part of the problem.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Danny Higgins, in for Kelly Bidlin on this Tuesday morning, 12 days before Super Bowl 60. Kelly with the migraine out today.
Yes.
Kelly Bidlin, in parentheses, migraine out. That's what's going on with Kelly. So we hope that he
hope he's feeling
recovers quickly, gets back in tomorrow. But, migraines take their time. They disappear when they want to. So he's questionable for tomorrow, I believe is his listing.
Yeah, questionable.
Let me just talk about one of my pet peeves. We have a tweeter, Vegas Chump, who likes to present himself as a very smart guy. And he is a smart guy. But sometimes when he knows he's losing an argument, he then makes a straw man's argument. I can't stand when people do this. And now Vegas Chump is like, you can't really compare DVOA of teams from different eras because it's relative to your opponents at that time. Exactly. That's like saying the 71 Bucks are better than the 2016 Warriors because they had higher point differential. Exactly. You're making our point for me. That may be better, but that's not the reason. Exactly, Vegas Chump. I get it. You know you're wrong, and now you're moving the goalpost. You're making a straw man's argument. No, we're not saying that if Kevin Durant played the 1950s Bob Cousy team, right, that the Celtics team could beat the Kevin Durant team. It's relative to your competition at that time. Stop it. Stop it already. Bond plate, simple tweet. Alina Svitolina, heart. Shrek McPhee, plus money on Iga tonight. Let's go. Richard Burkhardt has a very simple tweet. Danny. Oh, and then Richard Burkhardt also, you're pointing to Alina Svitolina versus Sabalenka tomorrow. That's not what we're talking about. Svitolina won last night against Coco. I have no play currently on Svitolina or Sabalenka tomorrow. Chris Thompson, 14. Great call on Svitolina. Fingers crossed for Pegula and Musetti tonight. Yeah, me too. Chris Heath, definitely on Mount Iteration more. Talking about Buddhist man. Sammy does St. Louis. He says, I've been snowed in for a few days, started tailing your Aussie picks. Great job, brother. Keep it rolling tonight all the way to the end. It hasn't been our greatest tournament ever in terms of the match by match. We are in the black, though, on it. But, of course, the futures could make it a spectacular, as can the rest of this. 3 Jack H3131, were there yes-no odds posted on top tweeter inductions? I didn't see them at Circa. Well, we're working on it. They'll get it up on the board. Harold Irving, we've been moving snow since Sunday at Massachusetts Maritime Academy, the school that producer Danny won the coveted Cranberry Scoop against. Explain what the Cranberry Scoop is again?
The Cranberry Scoop, it's played between Bridgewater State and Mass Maritime. We always play them the last game of the year, and it is for the Cranberry Scoop, which I don't know the exact specifics, but back in the day where all the cranberry bogs are down there in between Bridgewater and going up to Cape Cod. So they have the coveted Cranberry Scoop. So when you win it, you get to keep it. And then they have an MVP trophy as well it's called the Mini Scoop. So
did you win that too?
I did win that.
He won the Mini Scoop also, everybody. If you're scoring at home. Cranberry Scoop, Mini Scoop, he's got it all. Ness Watson. Woke up to a nice surprise. Svitolina gets there, had it at plus 180 at Profit X. Best of luck with your quarter future plays tonight. Thank you. And the numbers, guys. Morning, Gilly. Count me in as one of those in Eastern Standard, staying up for the 3 a.m. start. Great play yesterday. Gosh, now I'm starting to let my opinion get involved, kind of like Anisimova. P.S. How does Ken Palm calculate offensive efficiency? Spartans ain't that bad. Well, that's for another show. We got to talk some college hoops right now, though, with Matty Cox from 3-Man Weave. Before we get into formulas for Ken Palm, Matty joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at Matty with a Y_COX. 3-Man Weave is at 3MW_CBB. Matt, good morning. Do you want to go through a dissertation of how Ken Palm calculates offensive efficiency for everybody, or would you rather not?
No, it's an exercise I love doing with you, Gil. I was just looking at the future board today, going through my portfolio and seeing if any of these that still qualify, which ones I don't have, which ones do I think there is value, which ones do I think I should wait, maybe get a better price in a month or so.
So let's flash that up. So these are I did the first iteration this morning of the college basketball formula. These are the 7 teams. No surprises here. Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, Houston, Gonzaga, and Florida. Which are the ones you want to? Which ones you have? Which are the ones you want to wait on here?
So I think the one I'm about to add now, you got to obviously price shop here, but Florida is in the neighborhood of 20-1. I think that might be the best value of this group, and I think that's actually worth the play. I think Arizona's just at this point you missed the boat, and I know you're not really a huge Tommy Lloyd and tournament guy. We've seen some.
That is correct.
Some slow styles trip them up. Houston, I think that's my second favorite in terms of value on the board. I haven't added that yet. I don't know if I trust their defense in terms of like being all the way elite as a bedrock that can carry them to a title like they've had in years past. Michigan, we're starting to see plateau a little bit. Gonzaga with their injuries up front. Duke's a little bit too inconsistent for me. And Iowa State, I just don't think has the high-end talent. So that was kind of my process of elimination there. But Florida's the one where I'm like, yep, a lot of close losses early. They kind of figured out what their backcourt looks like now. And I think that with that front court, obviously that coaching staff's as sharp as any in the country. I think at 20-1, that's when I'd probably put a little couch change on currently before they get deeper to SEC play and probably rack up a few more good wins.
I also talked about teams on the outside looking in for whatever reason, either outside of adjusted offensive or defensive efficiency, coaches that hadn't gotten to the Sweet 16, which has taken a couple hits the last 3 years with Danny Hurley at UConn and Todd Golden at Florida, 2 of the last 3 years. But here are some teams, and I'm curious, which of these do you feel is a legit contender, if any of them? Save your answer for the end. Vanderbilt, Virginia, Nebraska, BYU, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, UConn, Kansas, Texas Tech, Alabama, and St. John's.
I'd probably, of that group, I think the one I like the most, I think it's Illinois. I really do. I think they are very much like Florida last year. I mean, they are the biggest team in college basketball. The emergence of Wagler, as you saw, just eviscerate Purdue over the weekend, kind of his coming out party. If they get Boswell back, I think that's the team of that group, you're right. That's most of those teams are more tier 2 teams, I would say, with apologies to Michigan State, who I think I probably should put in that group. I mean, they're 4th in KenPom. They've done nothing wrong this year. Tom Izzo kind of just continues to deliver. And the Big Ten is a weird league this year. It's deep. It's got some top end talent, and I think we'll see them tested. But if you had to choose one of those two, I'd think Illinois. Underwood's a better, I think, chameleon tournament type coach who can adapt to different styles, make changes. Izzo's really good, but I think I trust Underwood more as a tournament maneuver, if you will, to make a deep run.
Arizona crushing BYU for most of the night last night, led by as many as 19. It ends up being BYU with the basketball with a chance to win before a block shot.
In the number and had the ball. Yeah.
In the number and had the ball, exactly. Arizona survives with the block shot. Just a year of just great freshman play continues across college basketball. What did we learn? What do you think you learned most from that? Was it about Arizona? Was it about BYU? Was it about DeBonsa specifically going up against someone his own size, if you will, quote unquote, and all of a sudden he came up a little small? What was the biggest takeaway?
You mentioned BYU in that long list of kind of teams on the outside that could get there. It's easy to make a case that they are a contender because they have, on any given night, the best player in the sport, but they're just so top heavy. Like their big three, the drop off to their ex guy is huge. And it's funny, last night, ironically, they got a big night from Kennard Davis, but even with that, that was a great spot for them. They still couldn't beat Arizona. Now, Arizona's obviously Arizona, but still, that was like, I think BYU, you actually saw that there is maybe a cap to their ceiling because they are so top heavy and reliant on their big three. Arizona, we know, is awesome. I think I have no questions about Arizona. I feel like if they get into a slog in the tournament, they just got to make enough outside shots. But those rookies are getting better and better, and I think they're actually a better shooting team than their profile looks so far. Arizona, I know what they are. BYU, I'm learning to be a little more skeptical of their upside, even though they have just a dynamite talent in AJ.
Yeah, AJ 24 points, but on 6 of 24 shooting last night, 1 of 8 from behind the arc. Yeah, and 11 of 16 from the line, only 4 boards with 3 turnovers. The block at the end to seal the deal, of course, from Braden Burries. What a great play at the end there. And boy, the refs, that might be the other big takeaway. The officials were just brutal down the stretch of that ball game. Okay, you have a play for us tonight, though.
I do. It just hit me. I think I gave out Virginia last time on the show, so maybe I'll keep the Who's as my VSiN spot tradition. But I am going to go back to the UVA well tonight. I think people were like really excited to bet them against UNC. I was among those. I think I laid 6.5. They were dominating the first 20 minutes. Second half got a little sloppy with the ball. Shots were just not falling, and it was one of those weird. The game just kind of spiraled against them down the stretch, and they couldn't close it. So I think coming off that loss, Obviously, it's a tough turnaround here going to Notre Dame, but the Joy Center is not a great home environment. I don't think this Notre Dame team is anything special. The only thing they've done well in conference play is they have the number 1 3-point defensive field goal percentage, and they're kind of a pack line team. So they've gotten pretty lucky, I think. I respect Shrewsbury. I just think they're outmanned and outgunned tonight against a motivated favorite on the road. And look at Notre Dame. Virginia's performance away from home. It's been awesome all year. I think this is a great spot to back, like I said, a motivated, locked-in favorite. I made it 12, so I'd take anything up to 10.
All right.